let's talk a little bit about some Pixel news. So we have last week we talked a little bit about the Notepad, the foldable, and we now have I think last week we talked a little bit about maybe there being another phone, right?
Yeah,
we said like there might be this Ultra or whatever.
Yeah, because this is not the first time this has come up.
Yeah,
but the first time it came up, I was kind of like,
yeah, it was weird. It was a guy who was reputable. There was a random tweet, and he had an entire thread talking about this previously undiscovered phone that had a different camera sensor, and it has a different code name. It's in the Android Lynx, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then it was weird because no one really picked that up. But this wasn't just
9 to 5 did do something on it. They were just kind of like, there's something out there, you know. Yeah. There's something out there with it's in the Pixel line of phones. It has a different telephoto lens on it. Make whatever you want of that.
Right. And before we get into the details of it, who's to say, because we've talked about chips and Tensor and how, you know, like with Chromebooks and everything, how they'll build stuff off of previous. Who's to say this isn't them, you know, dog fooding the Pixel 8?
It absolutely could be.
Maybe.
It absolutely could be. But, you know, there are rumors around it, and it's fun to speculate sometimes. It's fun to sit back and just be like, I don't know, what if? You know, like,
it's like,
what would that be like? That would be crazy.
They already revealed the 7 and 7 Pro, so we're like, you got to find other leaks. Yeah, you got to find we got to find something else to talk about.
Well, and yeah, I mean, I guess let's talk about what there is out there before we speculate on anything. But so there's a new post from. What was the guy's name? On Weibo, which is a Chinese social media digital chat station. And so basically saying that there are 2 other flagships being made in China at Foxconn for Google. Google moved their stuff to Vietnam a few years back. So the Pixels have been made in a factory in Vietnam. So that's kind of noteworthy all by itself. But just like we read from 9 to 5 a little bit ago, it's the same screen, but I remember 9 to 5 posting, and this is straight off memory, but that it was a different panel, same resolution, same size, same center hole cut, but it was actually different. Like the manufacturer of the panel was different or something, maybe like a little bit brighter. But now they're finding reference to this different telephoto lens. So it is an IMX 787. So the same main sensor, same 50 megapixel main sensor, but if you remember the Pixel 6 and I think the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro will also come with the 7 Pro will come with the same, I think, 50 megapixel sensor that the 6 Pro has. Maybe some small tweaks or updates, but generally the same. This is a very different one, and the Pixel 7 or 6 Pro and 7 Pro look to be using a Samsung sensor for their cameras. This is a Sony IMX sensor, 64 megapixels, 1/1.3 sensor. I don't know what those numbers mean, to be honest with you.
Andrew?
1/1.3, is that just saying it's aperture?
I mean, it's just a size, 1.3 inch. So it's one. I mean, it's whatever the math is of
that divided by 1.3.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I see.
So yeah, it's, you know, that it looks to be a better overall telephoto sensor than what is on the other Pixel phones. And it's not so much about like, oh, well, we can look at the stats and know that this one's going to be that much better than that one. It's like, why is there a phone out there with a completely different screen, and not completely different, but a different build of the screen, which if it's being made by Foxconn, that makes a little more sense supply chain wise. And then why would you have a completely different telephoto lens for if you're not going to do something with it? Now, it could be digital chat station.
Oh, his name's not on there though. Okay.
No. So again, these are leaks, grain of salt, all that kind of stuff. Like, dude could just be making stuff up, but it coincides with 9 to 5's other reports of things they found in the Google camera app. So reference to Lynx as this other device, references to this specific camera. So it's not like this guy's just pulling this out of thin air. And then, you know, just the fact that there is another Pixel phone roaming around there that we don't really know anything about.
Yeah. Sorry, I was trying to find this. I hate trying to find stuff that's in old threads. Does that mention the front sensor?
This does not, no.
Okay, because in the original tweet this is from Kuba Wojciechowski, is the guy who had originally
Oh, yeah,
said,
yeah.
I've obtained
It's like
information."
last week or week before or something like that.
Oh, this has actually been July 25th. So
yeah,
yeah.
a couple weeks
he's
ago.
saying the front sensor is an unannounced IMX 712 13 megapixel.
That's right. Yeah. So
I mean, you're talking about
and they're like dual pixel something.
which
Yeah,
they can
yeah.
use for the
Face
face
unlock.
face
Face unlock,
unlock.
yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, there's some differences here clearly, and so that's what makes it really intriguing. In this same post, this guy also talks about pretty quickly, just talks about the folding Google phone, which we know Google Notepad is likely going to be the name of that, but the fact that they're saying that it's being developed and made at Foxconn as well. So, then the with the camera changes that are happening, the buzz is kind of starting to go again. Like, are we going to see the Pixel Notepad at the fall event? Like, is it ready now, or are we moving in that direction? We don't know, and we don't know that like there's going to be another Pixel. But it's interesting to start thinking about those things now. It's like, maybe at I/O Google knew like, hey, we need to go and announce these handful of things that'll appease most people. And it'll get people kind of off the scent for a little bit.
Yep.
And it did. I mean, I wrote a whole article about how they just kind of tamed the whole leak culture.
Yeah, and they continue to do so, very much so.
And so they might have done some of that just because they don't want their stuff to leak and they want to, have the narrative under their own control. They also might have done it as a smokescreen. Like it's pay attention to what I'm doing over here so you don't notice what my other hand's doing kind of thing. Whatever that saying is. I can't think what it is.
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
Handycam?
Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like
I know what you're talking about.
the right hand didn't know what the left hand's doing, whatever. I could see a little bit of that going on.
Yeah.
And if so, man,
Great move.
applause.
Yeah.
Like, good job.
It's just misdirection, man.
That'd be
Well done. Like, I'm not seeing a company do that.
No.
They've not used an actual product announcement to shield another product announcement. Like, it's
brilliant.
Brilliant. If that's what they're doing and it worked this well to get them this far with no leaks.
So I don't.
Good job.
Yeah, I don't know enough about phone manufacturing to know. Like with Chromebooks, like we kind of have a little bit of a sense of when it's in this phase, we know kind of when it's maybe going to hit. If it's just getting, is this just like a prototyping thing?
It could be.
Is it a?
It could be a test
unit.
unit.
If it's getting, if there's something being built at Foxconn, does that mean that the designs are there and they're ready? And
but it's in the repositories.
For anything to be at, that's why this tweet's interesting because there can be stuff in the repositories that they're messing
just testing.
with.
Yeah.
The fact that they're talking about Foxconn
getting
making this
built, like something's getting
this
manufactured.
is lab testing stuff. But if it's a Foxconn and the repository, it seems like this is a device that's on the path to be built.
Yeah.
So I just wonder,
How cool would that be?
Because so like with Apple, do they still do the SE?
Yeah.
So you have the SE, which is their like A series.
Yeah.
And they have your standard iPhone. What's the gap between just if I wanted to go buy a standard iPhone and then the iPhone, what is it, Max Pro Res dot
Just
com?
iPhone,
Yeah, it's
right?
just the Pro. So you have SE, Mini.
I thought they got rid of the Mini
11
with the last iteration.
Oh, they may have.
I think they
That's
ditched
how
the
long
Mini.
they're away
So
from
how big
all
is the
those.
gap between the Pro and the next one down? Like performance and
I
specs?
mean, it's not that. It's because there's the Pro Max and then the Pro. So it's a smaller Pro. Yeah.
So it's iPhone Pro, iPhone Pro Max.
Yeah, and then the SE.
Right. And that's why I wonder what if Google is because there's distinct differences between the 6 Pro and the 6, but they're not really
Wildly different.
They're not wildly
They
different.
are. Like, it's funny because like we've
That's
talked about
true.
this,
They
we did some
are,
videos.
depending on how you look at it.
The
but
more I dug into it, I was like, okay, there's quite a few differentiators here
Yeah.
between the two phones. But as you're sitting there saying that, I'm like, back up, think about Samsung as a demographic to go after. Samsung releases the S22,
Yep.
S22 Plus, S22 Ultra. They release 3 phones.
Then they have their A series, which is
Yeah.
But think of
that's-
those as kind of a
Of their
separate thing.
flagships. And if you think about it, the S22 is a very good phone, has most of the features. The S22 Plus has a few extra features. That's the one I had.
Mm-hmm.
I think the camera was a little bit different, but the screen's a little better.
Yep.
Like there are
Better
benefits,
refresh,
and it's a
yeah.
little bit bigger. There's a benefit to going to the larger one a little bit, not huge gains. And then the Ultra has
Everything.
Yeah,
and that's what I wonder if that because and the advantage to that would be because your average consumer that wants a flagship phone is probably going to go in and buy the 21, just the 21 or whatever.
Right.
The people that really know and really want, they're going to get the Ultra. And then if Google can take that method and then take the A series and push it down even further to where it's a $400 phone,
right,
or $349 for that matter,
right,
and then you have your, if I can go get a OnePlus 7, not a Pro, not a Pro Ultra, a Pro Max, whatever, just a OnePlus, a Pixel 7. So I was looking at the 10 this morning, a Pixel 7, and it's $600 or $700 or whatever, and I know I'm going to get a premium phone. I think they could really.
Yeah,
they might be doing it too early. I don't know.
But I see room in it. I really do, because if
Samsung wouldn't keep doing it if there wasn't.
Exactly. Yeah. And the rumor is they're going to keep the Pixel 7 at that. What is the Pixel 6? $599.
$599.
Yeah.
So it's going to stay $599, and then whatever $899 for the Pro. I could see if the Pro's not wildly better, maybe they bring that price down a little bit in the $849 kind of range.
But they do $8,000.
And then they'll allow themselves to have that,
and then you have like
$1,100. They can throw everything at it and know that only the diehard people are going to get it, and not feel bad that they didn't have an affordable whatever.
Exactly.
Like,
because that's the thing. I mean,
what everyone's moving
Samsung, the S whatever Ultra, it's what, $1,200, $1,300.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's an expensive phone.
The people that are going to buy it are going to buy it. Samsung's not selling a boatload of these,
right?
But there are people that are going to buy them, and
they're out there.
People will bash Google if they make an $1,100 phone, but you know what? If it is competitive with the Samsung Ultras and the Apple,
right?
People will buy it.
I feel confident that with this phone in my hand, I feel confident they could go make a Pixel 7 Ultra, and really pull out all stops. Like, clearly they probably had to cut some corners. I mean, the fingerprint scanner could have been better on this. For instance.
They could go to what is ultrasonic like Samsung.
For the Ultra, it's ultrasonic fingerprint scanner. It's a little bit better front facing camera. It's got these whatever the 64 megapixel different sensor on the back that now has 50x zoom or whatever,
right. Something crazy.
Whatever else it can do with the camera. So it's got extra camera hardware tricks on board. Maybe a slightly brighter screen.
It's ceramic.
Yeah, that's the other thing. We forgot to say that. So that's the other part of the rumor right now is that in 9 to 5 it talked about a ceramic build, but when I read it, I didn't realize they were talking about the same tweet. I read it and it was just like, and then maybe the next Pixel will be ceramic, which OnePlus made a ceramic one, didn't they? The OnePlus X or something, wasn't it?
It was the X, yeah.
It was a random phone. Yeah. But there have been a couple ceramic phones, but ceramic's way harder. That hardened ceramic is actually more durable than glass.
Which is crazy because in my mind, I think ceramic, you got to treat it like a Fabergé
like a
egg or something.
They can harden that ceramic and make it really durable. Yeah. Charging would go through it just fine. It's just a nicer, a little bit slightly more premium kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they're saying that that's part of this, whatever Link's device is. So again, if you add better camera hardware, maybe a upgraded fingerprint scanner, you add bukus of RAM and storage. Make sure that the internals are beefed. It's going to be Tensor 2, but beef up the internal storage, especially right now. By the way, we can talk about this in a second, but I'm seeing all these reports that the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1. The newest one that came out, it's still doing the overheating. And
really?
Like even with the OnePlus 10T.
That is one problem I've never had with my Pixel.
No,
never.
So it's like that. Time's ripe right now for them to come in with Tensor. Tensor 2 needs to be just a tweak of Tensor. Like there's plenty of speed here. It doesn't need to go crazy. Keep the throttling down. Anyway, so you add a ceramic body, better camera,
better selfie camera,
crazy internals. Improved selfie camera, improved fingerprint scanner.
Yeah, there you go. That's an Ultra.
What else do you need?
The Pro X.
Yeah, I mean,
the Pro XL.
I think they stick
Bring
with
back
Ultra.
XL.
Yes.
The Pro XL.
And then, I think to do this right, though, they've got to figure out how to tame the Pro a little bit.
Sure.
But I think then we start talking about it's a mixture of Samsung's thing because they have the S22, S22 Plus, and the S22 Ultra.
Yeah.
There's a pretty big gap between the 22 Ultra and the 22 Plus.
Sure.
Like the 22 Plus does feel like just a bigger S22 with a couple small extra perks.
I could see that.
I think it moves more to the Pro being much more in between the regular and the Ultra, kind of like what Apple does. So you have the iPhone.
What if they
the iPhone Pro,
Yeah.
and then the Pro Max. The Pro Max just gets some extra hardware, and it's a larger phone than the Pro. I don't know.
There's something also I still like about having like a phone and then an XL where they are the same phone. There's just a bigger.
I love that
some
too.
people, some people, but that deviates from the. Well, they could do both. I guess they could make 4 phones. Who knows? 5 phones.
I just like
All
for
the
whatever
Google
reason the market right now
3.
just has moved away from that.
Well-
like the bigger phones get the more stuff, but they have more room to put stuff in them. It just
makes sense.
Yeah, it makes it easier.
Well, and there's some interesting sales psychology about three options. And I wonder if that's why these phone manufacturers have like gone
Moved to this.
3 options.
People
right?
don't like 2 options
No,
because
2
they feel
options
like they're
is weird.
pigeonholed to pick one or the other. It's easier to justify having 3 options because there's always going to be one where I can look at it and say, well, this is better than that.
And
you pick the wrong one out of 2,
Yeah.
then you just beat yourself
When I
up.
decided to try the Galaxy phones, I mean, I looked at it that way.
Yeah.
It was
Like,
I want something better than what the entry level one is, but I don't need all the stuff that
Right.
Ultra's got.
Whereas if they
That
just had the
Plus
2,
is
you
great.
would have been like, I'll just take the cheaper one for now. Like, just try
Right.
it out, right?
Yeah.
So they got you, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what
They
that's
got me to
why
upgrade.
That's why car manufacturers they usually make 3 trim. I mean, they have like their special limited, but there's usually 3 trim levels,
Right.
and most consumers buy the SE.
Yeah.
They buy that.
There you go.
mid-range.
If you're trying to sell something, give folks 3 options.
options. Yep.
Boom. Thanks for watching this clip of the Chromecast. If you liked it, make sure to give us a thumbs up. Click subscribe down there, and click the little bell notification icon, because that helps the algorithm. It fixes everything so that you see our videos.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, you might not ever see our video.
I know. You just might forget we're here.
You might just forget that this channel exists, and then you're scrolling through YouTube one day and you randomly
Exactly.
see it.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh, those guys.
Yeah.
The clips guys.
That bell.
Chromecast
I
clips.
missed
The bell
all these
undoes it.
videos.
That's right. That's right.
you go.
All right. If you want to see this full episode, you can go check out our other channel, the Chromecast Podcast. But we appreciate you watching this clip, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.